And your pasta, no clue far from the land. Tottenham stranded, in shadows, no man's land. Lost on the pitch, echoes in the night. Fans screaming loud, no end in sight. Shift the blame like drifting sand. Promises empty, no steady hand. Wandering clueless in the football nest. Wishing for a twist, but nightmares persist. Shift the blame like drifting sand. Promises empty, no steady hand. Wandering clueless in the football nest. Wishing for a twist, but nightmares persist. Where's the Leo we waited in vain? Pains us deeply every season the same. No direction, stumble and bind. Tottenham's lost its mind. Speechless, impressed, they're at the ground. No solutions, nowhere to be found. Fans thrown aside, hearts turned to stone. Stadium echoes a lonesome drone. Whispers in the air, they speak of change. Hope on the horizon feels so strange. Question marks in every wayward pass. And goes the future fading fast. Where's the Leo we waited in vain? Pains us deeply every season same. No direction, stumbling blind. Tottenham's lost its mind. Where's the Leo we waited in vain? Pains us deeply every season same. No direction, stumbling blind. Tottenham's lost its mind.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
Hello everybody, welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be in town post-match day. We're back for another show. We've got a big one tonight. My God, there's so much to go through. Where do we start? Where do we end? Where do we begin? We're just a lost project, a lost cause, but you're not. Thank you for being here. Smash like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the good stuff. Make sure you follow the Hotspur Hood as well. Look, before we begin the show tonight, let me get into it. Congratulations to the Premier League champions, Liverpool Football Club. They deserve it. They've got the best record. They've literally blitzed the league. Arne Slot, phase one, hardly spent a penny, and he's delivered a record-breaking championship title. Well done to Liverpool. Congratulations. I think it was always going to happen on the day, but they've won it. Well done. You deserve it. Commiserations to the bottle jobs. 3 years in a row, second place Arsenal. You can put another banner up in your stadium, goons. Yep, I told you he'd bottle it, and he did. And a big, big shout out to Billy Carnes. If you don't know who Billy is, he's on Twitter, for taking this into the away end. Bottlers again, ole ole banner. In the away end at Anfield. Have some of that. Well done, Billy. I tell you, magic stuff, absolute magic. But listen, that's where the positives end. Now we're going to give you 2 hours of negativity. We're going to live in the negative. Absolute cesspool of negativity. Welcome to the home of negativity. Boys, I think anyone lacking basic brain cells would have predicted that we're going to get something out of this game today. And I think when we saw the starting lineup, anyone with just one brain cell would look at the starting lineup, compare it to Liverpool's, and say, "Yeah, we're going to get our pants pulled down," and we literally did. We had a brief 15-minute period where we looked okay, capable, maybe went 1-0 up, and then we truly royally capitulated. And at 2-1, the game was over, and they just battered us. Really, the stats kind of sum it up. 63% possession to Liverpool, 25 shots on our goal, 8 on target, almost double the amount of our passes, 2 clear-cut chances created, we had none, 8 corners to our 2. Listen, they pumped us. They truly pumped us. And Ange has broken yet another record. Liverpool have scored the most goals against any opponent in their history. Yeah, that's right. They put 15 past Spurs in one season. Another record to add to the list. This record goes back to the 70s and the 1800s. I mean, it's unbelievable how diabolical that performance was today. And the excuse is going to be, oh, but it's just the Europa. Well, then just don't turn up for the games anymore. Just wave the white flag, get 6 players sent off, let them have the 3 points, and let's just call it a day. Because Mari, man, we'll go around. Everyone have your brief say, but that's. I would like to say that's as bad as it gets, but I said that after Wolves. I said that after Forest. And I'm saying it again today. That was shambolic. The defending was on a level of turd. If we were to grade turds, that was a rock-solid, smelly one with flies all around it, the defending tonight. I've made a list of things I want to talk about defensively. That was shite. Really, really poor.
That was championship levels. I think a championship club could have gone in there and done better defensively than we did. And being generous. That was utter. I'll wait until it comes to me.
No defense. There was none. That's why the defense was mentioned so often by commentary. I barely knew who was on the pitch except the 4 defenders because the commentator kept saying their names. Oh, Danzo, Davis, Spence, fucking. Who was the other one?
Adogi.
Yeah, right.
Vicario was at it again as well.
Right. Did the commentator even mention Johnson's name once?
Look, we'll get into the front line as well and the midfield because we actually got worse when we made the subs. Sarr and Kulu came on and we actually got worse. But Mari, look, you go first. Have your say. Let everyone. We'll go around. Everyone can have a quick say. But Mari, we never do well at Anfield, and I don't think anyone should expect us to do well today, realistically, if they're honest about it. But Mari, that was woeful. That was truly woeful.
I tell you, every time I think there's a worse performance, Tottenham goes, hold my beer. We got one better. And today was atrocious. Let me tell you, Danny the Bun said it. It was the same reaction. When we went up 1-0, I didn't even celebrate because I knew it was coming. I know people say the first 15 minutes was okay. I thought we were fortunate to be up. That's why I didn't celebrate because I'm like, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And it came. They pulled our pants down and don't want to get demonetized. Take the rest.
They didn't even pull our pants down. They just did it dry.
Yeah. And I mean,
they penetrated through the cloth, straight through the cloth.
It was absolutely disgusting. The performance, horrible. I know I'm going to go into more details. It's just bad. And for me, I was saying in the backroom chat that you know you're going to Anfield. Liverpool's already put up 5 against us this season. For once. And you showed signs of doing it against Frankfurt. For once, Ange, come into the game with some defensive structure. We were able to somewhat do that against Man City to play the counter. But this guy, his ego is so huge. His pride is so huge. He believes he's going to play the extreme high line at Anfield. Graham Lasso on the American coverage, Peacock, went on in him. I posted the video in the group chat. Went in on him, and you see the diagram. Like it's Pornhub MC. You have 4 Liverpool players, 4 of them who can pick each lane. And I'm because Romero's gone. In the 7th minute, that's what we were lucky. Danzo had to track back on the counter, and they were able to clear it. And you see Danzo go, Danzo, my word of advice for you, hire a real private fitness coach because you're going to need it next season, right? You are going to need it next season. I wish no injury on any player, but Danzo, you got to watch your back, get your insurance policy up because you are going to have, if Edge is back next year, if those who say he win the Europa, I don't care. I want him gone. Win or lose, I want him gone. But if he's magically 9 lives is back in the next season, Danzo, bro, you better be training with Usain Bolt next season. Good luck, because your Achilles are in trouble. That's all I'm gonna say.
Rez, were you entertained? Is that what you pay good money for? Are you getting the spectacle that you signed up for?
I was just bitterly laughing at every goal that went in. It was a joke. It's descended to the point of farce. This is not the way any football club should be, right? This is not. We're not plucky little Ipswich, right? No offense to Ipswich, but I'm just using the vernacular.
Well, they beat us as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're not
So did
plucky
Leicester.
Ipswich that give it a square go and just come up against awesome opposition. We are one of the biggest clubs in the world. We're certainly one of the richest clubs in the world. Okay, so what is the justification for any Spurs fan seeing that? None at all. It's a disgrace. And do you know what? These players are not as bad as the results have shown. Okay, they're not. Danzo is a good player, right? Romero, Van der Ven, even some of the ones that might be considered deadwood, like, I don't know, Davis or Richarlison, they're still professional players. These are players that clubs higher than us would have in their squads, would have in their teams.
No, they wouldn't.
No, I beg to differ.
No, they wouldn't.
I think you just made a couple of players maybe, but I just think you made a poor example with Richarlison.
I was saying my piece and I've been interrupted again still, so maybe I should just go now.
No, Dan, let him finish his bit. Let's let everyone have their say. Go on, finish your say.
Right? These are players that would get into other teams, those above us. So you're saying that Davis wouldn't get into Everton's team. They're above us. Yeah, they wouldn't get into Wolves' team. They're above us. Richarlison wouldn't play for Wolves, who are above us.
No way.
Richarlison wouldn't play for Wolves. Okay, that's fine. Richarlison wouldn't play for Wolves, but they're selling Cunha. Yeah? There are teams above us that would have these players. We should be higher than we are. Yeah? Okay? These players are not as bad as our league position shows. So where's the problem? The problem is the manager. We know this.
I don't have an opinion on this, right? Because everyone's going to go around and have their view. The one thing I will say about what Rez said, this same squad, are a couple of youngsters, finished 5th. So there is a strong argument to say, come on, we shouldn't be like, we should be. There is evidence to suggest it, isn't there? Because we finished 5th last year. But look, Dan, let me come to you. Look, we're all going to, I know we're going to have a divided view on things tonight, but that's what Spurs do to you. They divide you, and Levy conquers. That's bad. Divide and conquer. But Dan, I don't know what we were trying to do today. Were we just trying to not lose 8-1? Were we genuinely trying to get something out of the game? That the team selection was weird. Mikey Moore talk about ostracized. All the kids. Archie Gray, first time he plays in midfield, he does it at the hardest away ground that we play in. each season. This is the day he chose to do it. Look, damn man, I'm lost for words with it.
Mate, I'm not far behind you on that one. And yeah, same Spurs, different game. With that one, just go back on what you said, Wes. The only thing I am disagreeing with you on, basically, I just think you used a poor choice of players there. I have been saying for a long time that I think this team, is it even a team anymore? These bunch of players are better than this. Play them the right way, you will get significantly better results. I just don't think Richarlison was the best example, or Davis. That's all I was disagreeing with you on. The rest of it, I'll go with you.
Premier League sides.
Yeah, and Richarlison can't even bloody play 3 or 4 games a season because he's crippled most of the time.
They'd still buy them. They'd still buy them.
We're just beg to differ on that one. I don't see anybody coming in and buying Richarlison. But today, the way that was set up, now I can understand a couple of things because, like I said, for me, the season's done and dusted. The only thing we got chances with is the Europa. But then why leave both defenders out? If anything, play Van de Ven for 45 minutes and then play Romero for 45 minutes. Just the way he set that team up, you just knew what was coming. You knew it before. Even when we scored that goal, I was still sitting there with my Liverpool supporter mate, just nodding my head. Don't worry, just wait. Give it about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and they just add to the point. I think the thing that really, I can speak for myself, and I think I speak for a few people here. The thing that really got to me at the end of that game, whereas not many games have got to me, is the fact that Liverpool didn't even step out a second gear. They actually, by the end of the game, they were literally playing with us, not playing football. They were literally playing with us to the point that they were trying to get other players who hadn't scored to score just to get them on the fucking score sheet. And at the end of it, we didn't even get toilet paper. We got given sandpaper to wipe it with. That is how deep it went today. We got absolutely annihilated in every which way. Udogie today, what the actual fuck is that? That was absolutely shocking. That we're going to all that later. The one I will bring up I genuinely feel sorry for Archie Gray. Of all the teams that he gets dropped into playing, finally his centre mid position and that, they do it with Liverpool. Somehow you got to think the manager, did he say something wrong to the manager or something? He drops Archie Gray in it with Liverpool, for God's sake. As soon as I saw it, I just thought, go for it, mate. Give it a go. But to me, again, that just showed on why we need to buy men and not boys. Because it bloody showed today that he is not ready for the English Premier League yet. Totally. And there's a lot more I can go into about that because there was just absolutely nothing. The only thing that was actually right about that game was it was a good header by Solanke. And that was it. Apart from that, from top to bottom, that everything about that game was wrong. And it's not that it went wrong for us. It was just wrong, full stop. It was wrong before it even started. Just the fact that they literally played with us at the end for the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Can I say that the moment where I felt total humiliation on levels, I mean, we've been through a lot of humiliation, but there was one when Salah stopped during the game on the pitch and started taking selfies with the fans, right? Did anyone see that?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Exactly. That's what I mean, playing with us, for fuck's sake.
It was literally 20 minutes to go, and he's like, wait, stop the game. Come here. Oh, hey, selfie.
Just to add on to that.
I was like, oh, my God. Is this happening?
Still, just to add to that, the Red Balloons were probably the best defenders and attackers than Tottenham. The one balloon just knocked the ball away from Vicario. I was just like, wow, okay. That's how bad.
I think Spurs were trying to pass the ball to the balloons. If I'm honest with you, James, when you saw that starting lineup, any minor hope you might have had must have gone out of the window. When you saw we're starting Gray midfield, we're starting Tell, and we're going to put both right backs, both players that could potentially play left back on the pitch, and Danzo and Davies. And then you saw Liverpool's lineup. You must have thought, God help us. God help us today.
I think you guys are all looking at it wrong. We stopped Arsenal from winning the league today, didn't we? What are you on about?
Hey!
Exactly. What are you on about? Ange gets it. He's one of us. For me, when it comes to the team, about a week ago, I had a massive debate with Sava on his show, and he was telling me we need to go full strength team, build momentum. And I said to him, listen, have you not seen us all season? There's going to be no momentum. We're going to be getting spanked. They're going to be booing us off of the pitch. There's going to be nothing positive coming from these next 2 or 3 games. And he said, no, you've got to try build it. You've got to try build it. And I said, no, what I would do is I'd play the under-20s. Just forget it. If you're going to put all your eggs in that basket of the Europa League, then do it. Why play Maddison for the first half? What if he got injured and then you bring Kulu on, and what if he got injured? Or what's the point? Or even worse, for me, they've both been taken part in a 5-1 drumming. How is that going to do anyone's confidence any good? Like anyone. It doesn't make sense to me. So for me, I'd rather Andrew come out and just go, you know what? We're playing the kids because we're getting ready for Europa. That's it. End of.
I could have handled that better. I agree. If he would have just... Sorry, go on. I'm agreeing with you there.
Yeah, no, that for me, I don't get it. Like we've seen this week after week all season. Like, what did we really think was going to happen? Well, I know what I was expecting. I keep saying the same phrase. The front three, mate, it's championship level. If anything, it's probably gone worse from when I called it championship level, because Son had a good season last season. So it's actually gone backwards. So we might be League 1, League 2 now. Like, I just don't get it.
You got to laugh, honestly. This is insane. This season's insane. Scott, you never wanted Ange in the first place. You were against it from day one. Ultimately, Levy's the decision maker that put him in place or appointed the people that hired him. So we are going to get onto Levy. We always do, because all roads end up there. But what was the thinking today? Was it, I think this team can win, or if I do what James says and plays the under-20s, we're going to lose 10-0. I might get sacked at 10-0. But if I play a semi-baked team, 5-6-1, I still keep my job. Was it damage limitation without getting fired? Or was it just illogical behaviour, hope for the best, we see what happens?
You know what? I think one of the biggest problems is we don't really know. And it doesn't, because there's so much of what Ange does that doesn't make sense, doesn't fit what normal clubs do. And he said there, I didn't want it from the start. And one of the reasons was not because I think I have any great knowledge about it, but because I've seen what teams do that win. There's a pattern. Like, people say it's hard to win in the Premier League. It may be hard to get that plan over the line, but it's not hard to see what good teams do to win. And Ange doesn't do what good teams do to win. Ange doesn't do what normal teams do. And that's today, like we're talking about, nobody can really say, was he resting players? But as James said, then he plays Maddison. What happens if Maddison gets hurt? Was he trying to get us set up? One thing he certainly wasn't trying to do was get us set up to play against Bodo Glimt, because I don't think anybody can say that the way we played today is the way we should play against Bodo Glimt. And the thing that's been here since day one that Ange came here, and he's only made it more and more clear, he doesn't want to do what successful teams do to win. He's going to do what he does because he wants, and he's not concerned about what successful teams do. So what he was trying to do today, I have no idea. Maybe somebody else out there has a better idea of what he's tried to do, because he didn't go all in on the youth. He put our young players like Gray in a bad position. He didn't rest the players that are key, because I don't think there's a player on the team more key than Maddison. If he gets hurt, even against Bodo Glimt, I wonder how we're going to start creating chances. I don't know. It's another game where what Ange does makes no sense, and then what he says after the game makes even less sense. So you try to figure it out if you can still. I can't.
Can I just say one thing about Archie Gray? I just want to say one thing, just because people are saying it's not fair that he's been put into the middle against Liverpool, and I agree. But what he showed today, it doesn't matter if it was against Liverpool or a Sunday league team. He was shocking for that goal. That doesn't matter that it's against Liverpool. That could have been against my Sunday league team, and he would have still been the same outcome. He allowed him to run past him. He didn't even bother body checking him. Take him out. Make a foul. Like they're taught this stuff at the age of 7, and he allowed him to walk past him like he wasn't there, and it caused the goal. So I understand being like overrun, and we did look like we was overrun. But the basics of the stupidity from him and Bergvall, to be fair, it's just stupid.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Bergvall, because I was going to say this. Our eyes saw it, but even SofaScore and another rating, right? They got all 8s and above in Liverpool, Silverslide, Gravenberch, and McAllister. All of our players, including Madison, got a 6. So my eyes, I saw everybody play bad. Our midfield, I've been saying all year, is terrible. Terrible. Gray didn't have a prayer today. Didn't have a prayer today. But you know what? I'm going to add on to it. Basuma and Sarr would have been killed. Our midfield played so like shit today. Liverpool's midfield was going to cream us no matter who was in there. So it tells you how terrible this team is. This team makes me sick. I want to throw up. Makes me sick. And then I sat there for 2 hours with my hands folded like this the whole time because I feel sick. It's not even funny anymore. It's sick. And that's why I know we're going to get to this. If we win the Europa, I'm going to celebrate for those 5-10 minutes. But I want this. I'm not even calling him a clown because I don't want to offend clowns. Because clowns are actually funny. This idiot, I do not want to see him next season at all. At all. I don't even want to hear them talk. I think I might jump off if I hear it. Because I cannot imagine seeing this clown as a manager anymore. He's terrible.
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of fans that feel this way. By the way, Allier, yes, I did want Slot. This is when we
wouldn't have made a difference.
In the grand scheme of things of trophies, you're right. Yeah. No, I agree, Sim. Sim, fucking hell.
Do you know the I'll say this just to jump in before we get it right. If we'd appointed Arne Slot, we would have finished maybe 6th to 8th, 5th to 8th, something like that, right? That's what would have happened. And then eventually it would fall apart and he'd get sacked again, right? Arne Slot would have been a good appointment for Spurs. Postecoglou would be shit for anyone outside of a tin pot league like the fucking J League, right? That is his level. And I don't believe that, there's a big stratification. But this guy is too old to change his philosophy and should not have been appointed into the Premier League, right? It's easy to win things with Celtic. They're on a double at the moment. They've won the league. They've won the Scottish League Cup, right? Just the Scottish Cup left. If they win that, that's another treble, and that's Brendan Rodgers. And you can do it with Celtic. You can do it with Rangers. You can do it in the J League. You can do it in the A League, right? The Premier League is a different animal. He has no business being in this league. None. Arne Slot does.
Yeah, no. And Arne Slot he came with a bit of pedigree as well. Lubo, two things. Number one, I'm so glad because you're a friend. I'm so glad you didn't go to Anfield. 4 hours up there, 4 hours back,
and the rest.
Travel money, ticket.
6
Lubo.
hours.
I wouldn't have been. I'd have been ringing you from the car now. I wouldn't have been home.
Mate,
with Anfield, by the time you get out, you get away from Liverpool and you get on the motorway. It's you stop for half an hour as well.
Well, look,
it's 11, 12 o'clock.
I'm glad you didn't do it because you are a diehard, and I'm glad you didn't because that was unreal. But I made a note during the game. I did a watch along, okay, and I want to know what you think on this. So, on the first goal, Archie Gray just left his man to run past him.
Yeah.
He allowed the through ball, and Danzo got wrong side of the attacker 1-0. So I blame Gray and Danzo. Second goal, Tell's trying to play out from the back and plays a Hail Mary pass into the box. Gray then gets wrong-footed and just got bullied off the ball 2-0.
Yeah.
Third goal, Bergvall did exactly what Porro did against Forest. Ball comes near post. He headers it to the edge of the box, not clears it. Johnson goes in for a slide tackle, misses the ball, misses the player, slides on the grass like a school kid, 3-0. And then the fourth goal, Kulu makes a run. Spence makes the overlapping run. He's run 60 yards up the pitch. Does he pass to Spence? No. He cuts into trouble, loses possession, and then Davies doesn't shut it down. Sarr's not in the 6. Adogi lets Salah walk past him. Davies jumps out of the way. That was the fourth goal. And then the fifth goal, I refused to even make notes because it was an own goal. At that point, I was just, this is a waste of time. My point being is, Gray, Danzo, Tell Gray, Bergvall, Johnson, Kulu, Davies, Sarr, Udogie all took it in turns defensively today to make the kind of mistakes a big 6 club shouldn't be making. But the thing is, we see it week in, week out. Next week, it'll be another 4 or 5 players. Lubo, where are you at with this, man? Today was some of the worst defending, and we've seen plenty.
Performance today was embarrassing after the first quarter of an hour. Thought Solanke took his goal really well. Lovely flighted ball from Maddison for the corner. And he got up well, and he got another header soon after, didn't he? That wasn't really going to trouble Allison, but he tipped it over. After that, I don't think Solanke had any service whatsoever. So I would absolve Solanke and Maddison, who I thought had a decent first half. Apart from that, the rest of them were absolutely appalling. Just appalling, all of them. No excuses. All of them were poor. But I come back to the same, we have this discussion week in, week out. And people say, no, it's Ange, another one today. You don't throw Gray in with Bergvall into your midfield against McAllister and Gravenberch at Anfield when they're going for the league. You just don't do that. It's like, you're throwing them to the lions. So people talk about Ange, but it was normal. Today's normal. It all comes back to one person. Sorry, I've got to say it. And as a shareholder, I'm just wondering, because it's a private concern, whether there's any people like an ombudsman that I can complain to, because Levy, for me, is now sabotaging the football side and appears to be doing it deliberately, because he's watching this garbage week after week after week, and he's doing nothing about this manager who is so hopelessly out of his depth. Or, a few of the guys here have all said, these players are better than what they are, than how they're performing. There is no system. It's just pure chaos. I mean, you saw them walking through for the ball when Udogie put it into the back of his net. I mean, it was like, I don't know, it was like watching a game in the playground. And players have got a little bit tired coming towards the end of lunch hour, and they're not running. It was just pathetic. The whole thing was dreadful. But
Can I add something on that Levy bit? Can I add something on the Levy point?
He should have pulled the trigger.
Let me both finish. I'll come to you.
Ages and ages ago. There's just no excuse. There is no excuse. He is completely out of his depth. I mean, I said a couple of weeks ago, I expect us to lose all 6 games. We'll finish up with 23, and anything less is a bonus. And I stay with that. I just can't see, we'll all be talking next week after the West Ham game that it's dreadful, absolutely dreadful. If you're going to play Gray in midfield, stick him in against West Ham next week. Don't put him in against Liverpool. Just a decision like that, it just makes you just wonder, what the hell is this guy playing at? And he's there because of Mum, and Mum's there because of Levy. All comes back to Levy every single time. This guy appears to me to be doing his best to sabotage the club.
The buck stops with Levy. It's true of any organisation who ultimately whoever's at the head of that organization is deemed to be responsible for whatever happens under his pressure. That's why he's paid that amount of money. You're absolutely right, Luke, Ian. He is ultimately responsible.
So what I would,
James, you
what I
wanted
would
to say something?
yeah, what I would say with like the Levy situation, like I agree, but I think personally he's giving all the fans what they've been asking for so long, and now he's giving them what they're asking for. They don't want to hear it, and they don't want it anymore. I.e., back the manager. Why is he not being? Why are they not backing with money? Well, he's now spent 400 million. Oh well, why don't they get more than a year or 16, 18 months? Where he's now had 2 years. Why X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z? So, in my opinion, what Levy's doing is he's sitting in his chair and everyone's complaining. He's going, hold on a minute. You guys were telling me how to run my club. This is what you lot wanted. I'm doing what you lot wanted. And now you lot don't want it. And I'm not saying in that respect that I agree with what he's doing, by the way. I want him out just as much as anybody else here. But for me, he's put a big middle finger up to everybody and saying, this is what you guys wanted. Enjoy it.
So what you're saying is he is deliberately crashing the club so that he can avoid blame for this. Is that basically what you're saying?
Well, within reason, mate. Yeah, I do personally believe that he's been criticised for sacking Jose before the cup final, so he's not going to do that now with Ange Postecoglou. He ain't doing that because he's been banged with that stick so many times that he's not going to do that anymore. He's been criticised every year for not keeping a manager and firing him. So I think what he's doing is he's got a little tick list and he's like, right, okay, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. At the end of the season, he's going to say to all the fans, listen, I've done everything you've asked me for. I think it's best that I've taken back of control and doing what we do, and this is how. Because even though I don't want him at the club, I don't want him anywhere near the club. I think this is a kind of a get back at you, and I'll take it under what I was doing, because obviously what I was doing was working, and what you guys asked for hasn't worked. So
I totally agree with you. Hang on, Ian, let me say my bit with James. I'm agreeing with James because I've been said it for ages. Yeah, I think Levy. I think Levy has been playing this for a while. Yeah, and a lot of Spurs fans, you're getting what you asked for. And that is, they wanted an attacking manager. I mean, if people call this attacking football, fair play, whatever turns you on at the end of the day. But I definitely think that attacks the wrong end for me. But that's not attacking football. But we got a manager that's all he had to do was kick the ball bloody forwards. Yeah, that's all he had to do was kick the ball forward. And that was all he needed. And with that, with that, he wins on that one. And then he stuck by his manager through thick and thin, which is what we've asked him to do. When it gets hard, don't just sack the manager. Stick with him. Ignore what the toxic fans say of get another manager and that, because we don't want to do this again. Give the man some money. Yeah, there's 400 million. He has basically gone and done what a majority of Spurs fans have asked for. And he can literally now sit back and literally just go back in the chair and just go, there you go, boys. You should have listened to me in the first place, because it has gone exactly how he would have wanted it to go. The thing is, I think if there was a real chance on us getting relegated, I said we'd get a relegation battle, but a real chance of being relegated, Ange would have been out. He knew we weren't getting relegated. He knows we got the money coming in left, right, and centre. Yeah, wants Champions League money, but then again, he's quite happy to turn the fucking stadium bright red and start singing North Out London in there because there's 2 boxes in there, isn't he? Which wouldn't happen at Liverpool. It would not go blue there. It wouldn't happen at Everton. It would not go red there. And the list can go on and on and on, because the fan base would not put up with it, unlike our pathetic bunch of fans, the majority of them. And basically, it has just played right into his hands, because he can literally sit back now and say, but I gave you what you want.
Yeah, go for it, Rez.
Right, so there's a couple of things on this, okay? First of all, someone who heads an organization, one of the most important things they've got to do is something called due diligence, right? Whenever you make some kind of capital purchase, some kind of business decision, right? A responsible businessman does what they call due diligence. You know, they investigate, they look at the possibilities, the possible pitfalls, the advantages, the costs, the benefits of making a decision. You know, appointing a football manager is an important decision for any club. Okay, so this idea that Levy gave us what we wanted, okay, is a little bit on, might be nominally true, but when you actually scratch under the surface, it's actually not the case, right? Because someone who did their due diligence, someone who knew what they were doing, someone who made responsible business decisions would have not appointed, let's say, Johan Lange, would not have appointed Ange Postecoglou, because they would have had enough football knowledge around them for them to say, this person's style of football won't work, right? Postecoglou, I believe, is the oldest manager in the Premier League. Why has it taken him this long to get there? If he's that good,
Fair point.
he's been managing for a number of years, right? Since his his sort of mid 30s. So for 20 years, and yet he's only just been given a Premier League role. Why have all the other Premier League clubs, and they've all had managerial vacancies in the intervening period, not appointed him? Okay. So this idea that he's given us what he wants, he might have done it nominally, but he didn't do it because he wanted to do what we wanted.
Oh no,
right?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I think he's played us
right?
like Kipper, mate. That is what I'm saying.
Absolutely, right? And then you've also got to, again, this is very, very frustrating. Ange Postecoglou has not been given £400 million. Okay, it's not how football finance works. Look at the wage bill. The wage bill is still not one of the highest. It doesn't match our revenue. Like,
have they signed the players he wanted?
I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. We don't know, James. That's the other thing. That's
we
the
do
other
know.
reason
I think we do know.
Hold on. Let me finish my point. When he appointed Postecoglou, right? I believe, I've got no evidence, but my belief is it makes sense given what Levy's done before. He appointed Postecoglou having been publicly denounced by 2 managers, potentially 3 managers, in the intervening sort of 5-6 years. And so he wanted someone who would be more of a yes man. Now, does that mean he got the players that he didn't want or didn't? We don't know, right? We've got no evidence for that. And this, what I said, is just a belief, but it makes sense. Postecoglou has gone from managing Celtic, the Japanese teams, Australian teams, to suddenly being in charge of one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League. That's a big step up. Is he likely to make waves? No, he's going to be grateful for it. A little bit like Nuno, See,
the reason why I would say otherwise is because he wanted Van der Ven at Celtic. He wanted Brennan Johnson at Celtic. He publicly come out and called Solanke and Tell. So you can't pick and choose what you want to believe for what you hear, because he's come out publicly and saying, I've called. No, it's not. I've just named 4.
No, saying that he called Tell doesn't necessarily mean he wanted Tell. He might have been told, Tell is the one that you can get, but we need you to go and get him.
No, I don't believe that. That's not. You're saying that
again. The thing is, you can't.
That's not how business works. You're throwing a business
my assertion. You can't disprove my assertion and say that your assertion has been proven, James. Yeah, that's the key.
Because you was just talking about business. You were just talking about the whole business ladder, about blah 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 X Y. That's not how business works. Well, I'm sorry, if you're a business owner and say you own a shop and you're going out, right, you've got Wagyu steaks. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down there and ask the apprentice to give that big company a call and see if he can buy them for me. Don't work like that. You can't pick and choose and use your point when you want to use it.
Okay. 2 things. First of all, that's not what I asserted at all. I said I have a belief. I don't know if it's true. That's the key. When I assert, I state that it's just an assertion. And you have to understand what an assertion is. It is something that I believe, but I can't actually prove. Yeah. So then I applied deductive logic to see if it makes sense. All I said is that it makes sense. I didn't say it's true. Yeah. That's the key here. It makes sense. We're speculating. All of us are speculating here. The key here comes back to what Ian has been saying and what I've been saying all along. This man is not competent. The reason he's not competent is because outcomes have failed time and time and time again. That's what it boils down to. Really,
every time when I say we, I've only had the discussion with you once, if I remember correctly, and that was on the last show, yeah? Every time it comes to a Levy thing, I really can't be bothered with it to fucking night, because we know what the cancer of the club is. Pardon the phrase and that, yeah? But it is what it is as far as I'm concerned, yeah? And with the fact of that...
Use the word poison. I like that one. The poison.
Sorry. Well,
poison.
I used the word, and if it offended anyone, sorry. I know what it's like. I watched both my parents with it. My point is that I'm getting at, yeah, is we all know what the issue is. So what is the point on just keep rattling about this prick over and over again when we know nothing is going to actually change, yeah? When we know on the business side of things, he's
raising awareness.
He has brought us into the 9th biggest club in the world. We're still bringing revenue into that club from 16th place in the bloody Premier League, and he has still got the significant amount of fan base on his side. He hasn't got the significant amount of fan base against him. So on the business side, he's definitely doing something right. But when it comes to being a football chairman, because there is two sides to the business and the football, is split in between. Some want to be 75% business, 25% foot. Levy don't give a flying monkeys about the football anymore, because we've got that Champions League revenue coming elsewhere. We're not as desperate for it as we used to be. Yeah, we'd like it, but it's not a desperation anymore. He doesn't have to have it at Spurs to survive anymore to get to the next level. No, he just goes and turns to Stadium Red and everything and does the Nigel Benn and Eubank fight. And when it comes down to the crunch, we all know he don't care about the football. We all know he couldn't give a toss about us. So I just really can't be bothered with that one tonight. When it comes down to the whole thing of it, everyone, a majority of people wanted an attacking manager. And that is where I've said before, Rez, I think Ange Postecoglou had the easiest job a manager in this world has ever had in football in winning this fan base. As all he had to do was get on the bloody pitch and say, kick the ball forward. Next thing I know, I see 80%, 70%, just call it a random number, majority, Spurs fans, choo choo, let's get the fucking Ange train on and everything and that. And that is how it went from there. And then after 7 games, I called this fella out. You cannot keep doing this in the Premier League. It won't work. You'll get countered. But I thought the fella might have a brain on him. You know, there's been managers that have come in from small leagues, like it or not. Wenger is your perfect example, and succeeded. There's been managers who's come in from big leagues and done well, and they haven't succeeded here. It just is what it is. But so many people were just so desperate for this to work that even when a couple of people who didn't particularly want to call it because they wanted it to work, but then just said, look, this just blatantly ain't working. We've got, like it or not, we got to start again. No, so many of this fan base with this fella have just been so far stuck up his arse, they can smell yesterday's bloody dinner, for God's sake, and they still don't want to admit that without those 3 crack clubs behind us, this man would have got us relegated. And like it or lump it, we're going to have to start again with a manager, but it doesn't mean the process has to start again. A manager is not the process. He's part of a process. And if a process of something isn't working, what do? You focus on what isn't working. So obviously you have to focus on the negative side. You take the negative side out and improve it to improve the process or whatever you're working on, and you go forward from there. But
Dan,
go on.
I disagree with this. I want to bring Michael in because he's been sitting there waiting, right?
Go on, sorry.
The process.
Being on Real Tottenham TV, Michael.
For me, the process has failed for 25 years. The reason I went on We Are Tottenham TV, the reason I went on We Are Tottenham TV back in June, and I said Ange out because we signed Werner a second time. That was the red flag that we're going down the same path, which is the broken process of shit transfers, doesn't make sense, and then see, I've got 3 markers that I look at. One
thing still quick. One thing, the majority of the fans all complained and said, no, Ange stays in because of the process. I'm not saying any of us did, because I know we didn't, yeah? That's the point I'm making, and that's why.
They said be patient, process.
But we knew the process has been screwed for 25 years anyway. I'm just making a point. It's not what I agree with the process.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I'm going to bring this up in a minute because there's bits I want to say on this, and I think everyone's going to want to have a say. Let me get Michael in because he's been waiting very quickly. Channel member Andreas Facre, thank you very much, and Dietrich Kane, who says Archie Gray is so bad at the number 6. Michael, I'm going to let you say what you want. Let me just get a piece of paper. I need to write down how many times you say the word fuck. All right, off you go.
Okay.
Now to spite her, I'm not going to use it, right?
Yes, you will.
No, yeah.
I thought I heard him whisper one just then. I'm going to count
Right,
one.
one.
No, not yet.
It's in your translation. You can't help it.
I can substitute it with kurva if you want to, right? I can just use kurva whenever I want to use fuck, right? But yeah. Anyway,
That's one.
there is one. No, the context is different. The context is different. Come on.
Go for it.
Actually, right? Because I was listening to you boys, right? And I get the whole talk about Levy, right? But I just want to focus on our manager today, right? Because something struck me today, right? I get the point with talking about Levy, right? Because, like as you said, every problem comes back to him, right? Every single thing that's wrong at this guy comes back to Levy. I get the point, right? But I really want to focus on our manager today, right? Hopefully not for much longer, the manager thing, right? But I want to remind you guys of something, right? Because it's not like exactly today, right? But 1 year ago, we played against City at our own ground, right? And do you remember what the context of the game was, right? We all wanted, not all of us, right? But some of us wanted to lose to City because we didn't want to hand Arsenal the title on a silver platter, right? And then he went against us, right? In the presser, in the stadium, and told us that we are bottle jobs, right? And it's all about winning mentality, about winning every single game, right? It's all about you have to win, right? Every single goddamn, fan in the world that wants to back this manager told us, right? This guy will change the mentality of this club, right? Okay, fair enough, right? Was changing 8 players today and getting butt fucked. There is one. Because I had to use that word, right? There is two. The first one was with context, right? But okay, was getting abused today by Liverpool, right? With 8 changes. Was that winning mentality, right? Did any of us feel great about the winning mentality he brought to our club, right? Did you guys feel great about losing 19th league game of the season? 19. We have already lost half the season. And we still have 4 games left to play, right? Mm-hmm. Did anyone feel good about that? Because I didn't, right? I sat here in front of the desk, right, watching this game with my fiance, not girlfriend anymore, fiance, right? I sat here watching the game, and before the game started, right, I told to her, I wonder if it's going to be 5 or 6 today that we concede, right? Guys, we conceded 15 goals to Liverpool this season. In 3 games, because in one of them they didn't score, right? In 3 games, we conceded 15 goals to Liverpool, right? 15. Again, I want to repeat that 15 goals we conceded to them, right? It's honestly, I can't believe that this manager has brought me to a place where I'm watching a game of Spurs, right? And I'm wondering if it's going to be double digits or not, right? And I've said it today in the chat that I actually wouldn't mind if they scored double digit against us, right? For one, it's breaking the record finally, right? Because the record is 9-0. I wouldn't mind if they scored more against us, right? But I actually think that parts of the fan base and parts of the fan base, players, this manager, this ownership, they deserve to be humbled and they deserve to be shamed for what happened with this club, right? Because again, of course, we are not Liverpool, right? Liverpool have over 60 trophies in their history, right? We are not Manchester City, but we are also not Norwich or Crystal Palace or Bournemouth that never won a trophy, right? This club has pride. I'm just using clubs that haven't won and that they aren't like as big as us in England.
Because right? James's son plays for Norwich Academy. That's why I said it.
Yeah, what's wrong?
Sorry, James. Okay, it's not Norwich. Right? I don't know. Like pick any other club that hasn't won much, right? Like Charlton or something like that. I don't know. Right? I don't want to use Tottenham because we've actually won in our history, right? And this cup is actually big, right? And we've just witnessed today our club get abused on the pitch by Liverpool, right? Let's be honest, it should have been double digits if they didn't put their foot down. If they put their foot down and actually didn't play around with us, right? and I'm just shocked and appalled that there are still fans that want to defend this crap, right? I am just shocked. I'm just shocked that we as a fan base allow this to happen. Like, I just don't understand. I'm baffled, right? Honestly, I want to finish the rant with one question, right? Do you guys think if it was Leicester today instead of Spurs, that Ruud van Nistelrooy wouldn't just put 11 men behind the ball, lose 2-0 with a bit of face, and Liverpool get their title, but they don't get humiliated, right? Instead, this, I want to say the effort again, but yeah, this prick, right? This prick just set us up today with 8 changes in the team, put Archie Gray to slaughter, right? Again, like I get the point that he wasn't playing great, right? I get this, right? But you don't play a kid for 2/3 of the season as a center back, then bench him for a month, and then put him in midfield against Liverpool, going for the title, right? Like, what was that, right? Like, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw him playing in the midfield, right? And this manager just put us out there to get abused, just to get absolutely like sexually abused by Liverpool. I don't understand how any fan can defend this anymore. I'm just sick and tired of watching this team play. I honestly want this season to end and never like to come back, right?
Yeah, my social worker comes round tomorrow about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm questioning, guys. I'm questioning my love for football, like seriously, and my love for this club, right? Because like I like the club, right? I like talking with you guys, but I don't like watching this club. I don't like. I definitely don't like this manager. I don't like the ownership. I don't like half of the players that are in the team. Like,
I think this is to add to your point. I think this is the first time that, from what I can remember, where you are seeing multiple thousands of seats empty. I don't remember another time where, and I bet it's the same for next weekend's game and the weekend after that. I know the Premier League's over as such for us, but I can't remember this point. We're looking into the stadium and thinking, I mean, that game the other day where they declared that there was 59,000, I could see thousands of seats that were empty. And I think that a lot of people are thinking the same.
James, I think the way attendance works is they declare the amount of tickets that have been sold, not how many people actually came through the turnstiles. I think that's how attendance works. Can I, do you know, we were talking about the game today and how bad it is, and Levy and Ange, and I made a note of something that I saw. And I want to see if any of you can guess, right? On the 84th minute, Pape Sarr did something that no one else did until the 84th minute. Do you know what it was?
Had a shot.
No, we had shots before that. We had efforts before. On the 84th minute, right? Let's see in the comments. Let's see if you know. On the 84th minute, right? 6 minutes before the end of the game, Mate Pape Sarr did something that no other Spurs player did until that minute.
Stelios, look at me. Pape Matar Sarr.
You know who I'm talking about. Pape, Mate, Papa John.
Can I just intervene? It's actually Pap Matasar.
The A is at the end, but it's
I'm going now.
I wanted to be picky with it. Sorry.
All right, Sarr.
He actually drove into their box, possibly.
Danzo did that a few times now.
Took a shot.
No, we had shots.
Yeah, but
successful tackle.
His mum.
I'll tell you. There we go. He cried to his pet. No, on the 84th minute, in defence, Pape Sarr, Mate Papa Sarr, he smashed the ball out of the box, long and off the pitch, out of danger. The 84th minute, he booted the ball out. Nobody else in the team did that until then. I saw it and I was like, I got it. I had to make little notes during the game, just I forget. That is everything that's wrong with Ange Postecoglou. Everything.
Yeah.
Because if our players don't know that is allowed or that can be done, just to take the pressure off to avert the danger,
These are instructions. They must be instructions.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
He's
Of course
saying,
it is.
don't loft it forward. Play it out of the box.
It is the
But
thing that
if you don't buy
everybody has
players
always
that are
said.
good
Sorry,
enough
go
to
on.
pass the ball out of the box, you're going to get turned over in really dangerous areas.
When in
It's
doubt,
simple.
kick it out. It's the oldest rule I have ever heard. I know football has changed these days, but when you have got the pressure on you, like 4 or 5 Liverpool
Marianne
players
got it. Well
coming,
done, Marianne. Well done.
when in doubt, just kick the fucking ball out, whether it's out
Oh,
that way,
I watched
that way,
watch
or
along.
that way. Even down to the fact that with what you said still was right. That I think it was Spence who tried to do it, or Danzo, one or the others, who actually did try to kick it out. And he actually kicked it against the Liverpool player, and it went back and hit him and went off for a bloody goal. He just, mate.
But for me, I think that's
Dan,
I give up.
if Tell just smashed it off wide rather than trying to play it to the edge of our box where Gray was, if Bergvall just headed the ball back where it came from instead of deflecting it to the edge of the box, if Johnson just ran to the ball and put his foot for it rather than trying this knee slide, if Kulu, if Davis, if Udogie, if none of them just wanted to put their foot for a ball.
This is where we were talking before about when it comes to Ange. The thing, this is what we were talking about before when it comes to Ange, is for me, if we're talking out certain players like Vicario, for me, shot stopping, he's well up there with, I don't know, top 5, 10 in the world. I think he's fantastic at shot stopping. But the thing is, they're making him play out from the back. We can all see he can't do that. You have 2 ball-playing centre-backs in front of him. Why are you making him make those fancy passes? He did it twice today, or 2 or 3 times, where he tried to play that almost like side-slitting ball in past Salah, and Gravenberch intercepted and they went on to the attack. If you know that your team, he should know that he's like that. If you know that your team struggle in a certain area, then you work towards your team. You're right, Vicario, if you're in this position, just go long. Do what you're good at, rather than forcing them into a corner to play a way they can't play. And if he is so adamant and set on that way of playing, then Kingsley should be playing instead of him, because Kingsley's better with his feet.
Play with the cards you got, innit? Play with the cards you got.
Is it me, or do our players also not put in strong tackles? Oh, except in the box when we could give a penalty away. They seem soft. They don't seem like
they are soft.
Warriors.
Physicality. I was saying that last week against Wolves, and I've said that a couple of times these last couple of seasons. The physicality at Spurs, we are so weak. Like, I'm like, I haven't. I'm gonna be honest, I have not seen Bodo Glitt, but I'm assuming these Vikings are going to be very physical, and if they are, we are in trouble because we are a soft team. We have absolutely no physicality in our team, and I've been complaining about this for the last couple of years, and so we may be in for a tough time these 2 legs.
Didn't Mourinho come out and say it?
Yeah.
About being, he come out personally and said it about being too soft.
Yeah.
And being intelligent.
In terms of
discipline, unintelligent.
Could that be another managerial instruction? Don't go to ground as well, because I mean there are times. I mean it's not all the time. They do sometimes put in, the odd sort of slide tackle and stuff, and sometimes when you're tracking back you have to. But I don't see our midfielders being physical, being saying to the other midfield, where you're in for a war.
Yeah,
I think it's because they're not fighting for him. I think you saw on Frankfurt, they were putting in the challenges. They were going down and wasting time.
Say that. Yeah.
They were very, very smart in that sort of procedure of, right, I think it was Romero went down and just stayed there for 3 or 4 minutes, and the tackles were coming in. So for me, and this is just my opinion, I think everyone is done with Ange. I don't think they want to play for him. But I think individually they all want to win the Europa League. So I think that you're going to get the best physically possible out of a team that are not being coached in the Europa League, and hope that that's enough.
I can see where you're coming from. Do you know what, mate? I think that's actually a pretty decent point. The bit I will go with, no, I don't think the only basically physical player we have there is Romero, and then when he puts in one of his mental tackles, 9 times out of 10 he don't even get the bloody ball, and he takes the fella's shins off when he does go in for them sin tackles. Yeah, but he is about the only physicality player we have at that team. And you look at a couple of the other players there. I mean, like, I've heard people go on for a long time how well Solanke holds up the ball and that. Well, he ain't a small fella, I can see that. And that header he got today, fair play. That was a solid header, yeah, fair play. But I see him get pushed off the ball and pushed about so many times. And he's actually meant to be quite a butch fella. Like, he ain't meant to be a small. And then you look at what we got in midfield, realistically, yeah. Now, come on, let's just be realistically, yeah. All shapes and sizes, everybody, we know how it all works, yeah. Sarr, he looks like a piece of spaghetti, basically. There is nothing of him, for God's sake, yeah. I mean, snap him, I don't even think you'd be able to do it. It'd just wobble. Yeah. And then you go and look at Basuma. There's not much there either. And then you go and look at that little bitch we got called Maddison, who I think is a very good player, but I think he's a little bitch on that pitch and proved it again today. You just give him a little backhand and tell him to sit down and be quiet, and he will. And then you want me to go through the rest of the midfield. Bergvall. Not his fault. He's a young player coming through whatever, and he actually puts in some effort to try and get it forward, yeah. But he gets knocked flying, and then we have to come to but then we have to say Archie Gray as well. Oh my God, it's just another one that we have got, and he has got no physicality because of his age. It is not his fault, and he just got slapped about today like a little boy that just went to a secondary school and walked in with year 10, let alone year 7.
And
that's just the midfield.
And I'll get everybody smiling. From the back, Vertonghen and Toby, they were tough dudes. Kyle Walker, I don't even have to tell you. Even Danny Rose would get in there. Physicality, right? Then you go to the midfield.
Right? Wanyama.
Victor, I was about to say, beast. Victor won the mother. Dembele was a bad man. Like me and Alex was talking about. We don't have bad man, as the Jamaican would say, on the team.
Even Harry Winks used to battle. I mean, he wasn't very good. He used to battle.
Erickson,
even Skip used to try and get stuck in. Even Skip used to try.
Tough little dude. You know what I'm saying? But now it's nothing but
Dele Alli was a little shit. Lamella was horrible at times. You know, you need it.
Dele Alli, when he was on form, he had that mean streak. That's what I loved about him. Against Arsenal, against Chelsea, like on the field mentality whatsoever. But we have nothing but pussy holes in our team.
Devilman.
Really? No, but pussy holes.
Yeah, Devilman. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I criticize. The one thing that I criticize Pochettino for is that he told Dele Alli to stop being so rash, and it just completely fucked him because it was so integral to his game, the way that he played. Once that happened, he just went.
I think that's what's happened to Romero. I think that's what happened with Romero.
Oh, Romero, do you know what? I mean, I don't begrudge, talking of Romero, I don't begrudge any of the players where there's noises about them wanting to leave. Right? Let them go. Really, let them go because they
who wants to leave?
They don't deserve to suffer by playing for this club.
Do you know what really really frustrates me with what I'm watching? Okay, the other day I was on I can't remember who Shah was, and someone asked me the question saying, "Stel, you've been saying for a few weeks you really want Glasner. He lost 5-0 and then he lost 5-2. He's conceded 10 goals in 2 games. Surely that's suspect." And I made the argument saying, look, he's at Crystal Palace, right? They're going to get some tonkings. That's the club that they are. They're not a big club. But when you look at the transfers they've made, the quality that's left, how he rode a storm and turned it into what they're doing now, off the back of those 2 games where he conceded 5, I said, look, he's going for a little purple patch that isn't good. He'll come out of it because he's proven he can come out of it in the past. And I said, judge him where they finish and what happens against Aston Villa in the FA Cup semi-final. Now, they went to Arsenal, the Emirates, and got a 2-2 draw. This is a good Arsenal team. Remind yourselves what we've done at the Emirates recently. And then the FA Cup semi-final yesterday, I don't know if anyone saw it, absolutely tore Villa a new one. 3-0, some fantastic goals. Those Crystal Palace fans will remember that day for a long time. And they missed a penalty. And I'm watching them fight. I'm looking at the power on the pitch. I'm looking at the types of shots they're taking. I'm looking at how quickly the ball gets forward, how disciplined they are at times defensively. Not perfect, but far more rigid than Spurs. And I say to myself, he's gone to a far smaller club with a smaller budget, with less resources, and he's outperforming what I'm seeing my manager do after 2 years with a lot of money spent. So we can argue, yeah, but was he backed? Oh, but is he getting the players he wants? Was Glasner backed people? Is he getting the caliber of players he wants? Because he won the Europa with Frankfurt. That put him on the map. He's gone to Crystal Palace, who go up and down. Championship, Premier League, Championship. And he's got them above Spurs. They could finish in the top 10. They are one game away from winning a trophy that we haven't been to the final in 30-odd years. For me,
their first
when I see
first ever.
Rez, what I'm seeing him, even if they lose the final, what I'm seeing from him, I haven't seen that progression from my club and my manager.
No.
So I don't understand the argument here. Don't worry about the league. It's all about the Europa. Don't worry about losing games.
Still,
how are we there? Look at the progression. Where's the progression?
The bit you've missed out on is
the team
the
development?
fact that Palace hadn't even beaten the team before they played us.
Yeah.
And now they played us, and we gave them their first win of the season. And how many places are above us now? They were 6 at one point. I don't know what it is now. And they are coming into a final now. That just about tells it everything for me.
The one thing I like about Glasner, this is the one guy I said I wanted. He makes sure his defense is defensively strong, and he allows his forward players to actually express themselves. He's one of the few managers that you see nowadays that allows their wingers to be. I mean, look, Eze cutting in and scoring screamers week in, week out. No one really allows that anymore. It's a rarity. So I would love Glasner. I've got to shoot, guys. I've got to get up early for work. But the only thing I will say, obviously, to end it is, mate, I would do anything to have the old Daniel Levy back that sacks managers after 12 months of this shit.
You know what I mean?
I want my Daniel Levy back. Where is he? Take care, guys.
Big up, James. Thanks as always.
Guys, but by the way,
Daniel Levy, he wants his Levy back. I mean, it's hard to argue, right?
You know what I also want to point out what you said, right? And this is something that I'm seeing all over the YouTube, Reddit, whatever, right? The league doesn't matter, right? I bet you getting tonked 5-1 will work wonders on the players' confidence against Bodo, right? I bet you they are all fired up to play against Bodo Glimt, right? After getting abused on the pitch. I bet you they are all fired up, right? And even those that didn't play, Romero and Van de Ven, I bet you they should have the confidence watching Vicario do what he did today, right? And other guys that will play with them on the pitch. I am so pumped for the game against Bodo Glimt. I don't know about you guys, but it's watching this team is draining energy from me. I kid you not. I'm just sick and tired of this season. I seriously you know what? We are in a semi-final of a European competition, right? No matter the circumstance, we should all be pumped up, right? We should all be talking about it, right? We are in a semi-final. We also I don't want to say we have a favorable draw, right? But it's better to play Bodo Glimt than Athletic Bilbao, right? Or Lazio. It's better to play them than Lazio, right? I know they eliminated Lazio, but you get the point, right? We should all be pumped about it. I honestly I don't even have the energy for it's such a disheartening place to be as a fan, where you just watch your team get spanked.
Mike, let me give you a bit of advice, mate. Yeah, just from man to man, from a fella to a fella. I mean, I think you're top, you're right, same as everyone else in that. Yeah, you said you watched the game earlier with your missus, yeah, with your fiance, right? Just take this as a hint from a married man, yeah. I don't make my wife do that anymore. I consider that abuse. You're not even married.
I don't make
Stop
it.
doing it.
I don't
Stop
make
doing it.
I don't make her do it.
My wife would probably prefer doing the washing up than watching Spurs now because it's more exciting.
I don't make her do it, by the way. It's
I
not
know.
that I
I'm
tell
just
her
being
we are watching
sarcastic,
the game
mate.
today, right? Yeah. She just does it by herself, right? She takes the piss out of me. She has a lot of fun, right? While I'm sitting there depressed. It's like, you know.
Got a super chat from
Rub your face
BSC
in it.
Radio who says Palace were 1 centimetre away from being 3-0 at City away. They were. I was watching that game. If that goal went in, that would have been a very different game. But I just, Lubo, when you see teams like Crystal Palace, I mean, I don't want to disrespect Crystal Palace, but when you see teams like Palace who are turning up in big games like that semi-final against Aston Villa, who are a bloody good team, a team that's challenging for top four with a proven winning manager, and they do what they did to them. And we've seen Palace in the league go up and up and up that table ahead of Spurs, and you see how they're finishing the season strong. Does that not kind of just prove that coaching, tactics, a manager with a better nous, as Rez said, you know, these players should be doing better?
You know, a chairman that hasn't got the revenue that Levy has or the money that the club has, but stretches the club regarding PSR, FFP, isn't silly, looks after his players, looks after the club.
The chairman is a big mark in that, Ian. I agree, but I think that one comes deep. That comes down to the manager. That chairman doesn't have much choice in what he do. He got rid of what was it, 2 of his best players at the end of last season.
Elise and Anderson. That's right.
He did not bring in players of that same quality because he just can't get to them with Palace. What you've got there is a capable manager.
He bought the
with the cards he's got.
Well,
and that is exactly what he is.
He sold Anderson, replaced him with Lacroix from I think Frankfurt. I think he was playing, wasn't he? Wolfsburg. He was playing next to Van der Ven, so he brought him in. They brought Starr from Watford to replace Elise.
Yeah, but he's not on the same standard as Elise.
No, he's not the same standard.
All I'm saying is he's playing. He knows how to play with the cards he's got. The businessman, the chairman, he's running it that way. That's the whole thing, Adrian. That's exactly what I'm saying. When it comes down to us, at this moment in time, here and now, at 23-23, on the 27th of the 4th, 25, I think our biggest problem at this club here and now is not Daniel Levy. It is Ange Postecoglou. He has to go yesterday. And then we can concentrate back on Levy and that again. At this moment in time, Ange is our biggest problem, in my opinion.
I think he's the most, I wouldn't say he's necessarily bigger. I wouldn't say so. I think he's probably the most immediate problem.
Yes.
I think that's the better way to put it. Yeah. That's what I'm basically trying to say.
And I think you can change the easiest. And I think you can change the easiest, right? Because you can't change your players mid-season. You can't, like the ownership can change, but it's really hard to get them out, right? The manager is the thing that you can change the easiest, right? Like I'm sorry that it's that way. I don't necessarily think everything in the club is up to Ange, right? And everything at the club is his fault. But unfortunately, he's doing an awful job as a manager, right? And he has to be changed. And he's the easiest thing that you can change, right?
The way that I likened it a couple of streams ago was Daniel Levy is cholera, right? Ange Postecoglou is the diarrhea that is caused by it. Now, you don't treat cholera by treating the bacteria. You just give the person plenty of fluids and the diarrhea goes away, right? What we need is basically an anal douche to get that feckless sack of shit out of the dugout, right? And then we can go and treat the fucking virus.
Rez, can I please?
What we always do, Rez. Last thing I'll say on that, but Rez.
Wait, I want to call the next show "Anal Douche." Please,
okay.
Anal Douche.
The way we deal with it, Rez, is we don't deal with it the NHS. Well, NHS ain't much better, really, but we don't deal with it that medical way. We would just go and give them a pair of nappies and say, "Get on with it." That is exactly. There you go.
Exactly, yeah.
Leave his macro and Ange's micro.
Exactly. Absolutely right.
And that's
No,
where
so
it
just
is.
go to the game. I just don't want
Someone
to hear
said-
about Levy anymore. Not tonight, please. Just go to
If
the game.
someone
Mate.
offered me, if
But
someone said to
Dan,
me- someone said to me-
we talk about Ange about the same problems week after week after week. It's the same. It's no different to
Yeah, but
me.
I
with
know.
Levy, it's also the same, right?
But
It's no different, is
at
it?
least just cover some of the players tonight. I know they was all bad, but I've just made not my show to call, but I've just had enough of this Levy one over and over again. Like I said, we all know it. I know a lot of people ignorance is bliss and don't want to know it.
Dan, the thing is,
It's just frustrating.
We know it, but there'll still be people out there who might not know it, who might not agree with it, and if we truly believe in the club, we've got to try and convince them. We've got to try and convince as many people as possible.
We do it
that
every
this is
week.
the case. Yeah, but okay, but so we do it every week, so we're doing it again this week. You know, I know you're sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm really am.
Rez,
Right?
can I answer this? Right,
Dude.
Dan, this is the way I look at it. When Poch got sacked, and I said we're making a massive mistake here. Why aren't we backing him?
Agreed.
And that's when I started being Levy out. That's when myself, Brian launched Tottenham Away, because there was a few podcasts at the time and one or two YouTube channels, and they were not talking about the owners. We started banging Levy out, and I got told we're sick of it. We're sick of it. We're sick of it. All you do is blame them. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 20 people protesting. Fast forward 3 years. We've gone through Mourinho, we've gone through Nuno, in comes Conte. Things start turning sour. It's Levy out. Channel starts growing. People trying to bring the channel down. Getting called all sorts of names, all sorts of abuse. I'm getting sucked into stupid battles that I shouldn't be getting sucked into. 80, 100 people at the protest now. Protest grows. Levy out. And then I heard the exact same thing you were saying, Dan, from so many people in the community. Yeah. We're sick of Levy out. All you do is talk about Levy out every time we lose, every team. Now, I'm still doing it. 2,000 at the protest.
Yeah, I'm totally agreeing with you still. That's all I'm saying is tonight.
Doing it, I get where you're coming from as well. But Dan, I've been hearing that for 5 years. And do you know what? I will stop it. Right. I won't even bring it up on the channel. When 10,000 turn up at that protest and bring the real kind of attention to tear the top of this club down and it restructures from above, then I will stop it. But until then, Dan, I've been with this for 5 years and now it's getting the momentum it deserves.
I'm with you. I've been doing this now only a year and a half, maybe a bit more now. I think I've been doing this about 20 months now, yeah. And I've been with you and the others since day one when it comes to this. It ain't my place to call it, but instead of doing another hour and a half about Levy, personally, I want to rip into some of these players big time and not just 5 minutes.
Yeah, I agree with Dan, actually.
Listen, okay, look, we can talk about the players. That's fine. But as long as we understand,
and
Levy fired the manager that's failing to coach them because Glasner's coaching his players. You just said, deal with the cards you've got. Well, the manager isn't. Who's that on? It's on the manager.
I get all that. So I get all that, and it weren't my place to call it. I'm just saying tonight, I would just really love, because usually we end up going on to the Levy one, and yes, it has to be spoken about without a doubt, and we keep repeating it, and some of us disagree on certain points, and then actually have a debate or a chat on it or whatever. Sometimes it's we agree at this and that. I get all that. I just really want to rip into some of these players tonight. I really do, and not just for 5 minutes. But it's not my place to call.
No, it's not
my place to call.
It's not your place. It's not your place, but I listen to it because you're a guest on the show. We will get into the players then. So what I'll do is, Alex, have your say, and then no doubt that's going to start some kind of conversation because that's what you do. And then we will at some point get onto the players, right? Alex, welcome to the show, man. Good to see you. Looking happy as always. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you stay happy, but you do. Good for you. Did you watch the game, Alex, or were you at a party? Because normally you go.
I watched the game, but I just want to be a bit of a I can't say the word. I don't want to be. Yeah, I just want to be a bit devil's advocate about this. By the way, I understand where Dan's coming from. By the way, because I've been saying that for the last how many months now? Because I've been saying the same thing for so long now, and I don't want to talk about Levy because it's boring. It's boring.
Still is right as well. Still is right.
Yeah. But you get where we're coming. I'm agreeing with you, Dan. You see what I'm saying? Because I've been saying it for a long time now. I don't want to talk about this manager anymore because I told you about this from day dot. You know what I mean? But let's be a bit of a idiot, a dick, right now. We're all complaining about the manager right now, but we'll all be cheering when we beat Bordeaux Glyn. And we will beat Bordeaux Glyn because if we don't beat Bordeaux Glyn, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Because everybody, like I said on my channel, Mr. Box Office TV, which is taking a break right now for many reasons, because I'd rather do something else rather than talk about Tottenham, is that if we had this scenario putting Bordeaux Glyn in semi-final right now, we'd be snapping everybody's hand off right now. You know what I mean? Man United or Atletico Bilbao in the final, you're snapping anyone's hand off right now. You know what I mean? And this guy could be the most successful manager the last 2 decades. Fact. Now, listen, whatever you want, that's why he put the team out, right? That he put out today. You know what I mean? So for me at the moment, and the thing is though, what we'll do as Tottenham fans, because I saw it against Frankfurt, I saw it against Man City when we beat 4-0, I saw it against Brentford. We used to say, oh, we've got to give him credit now. We'll see everyone's energy change when we beat Bordeaux Glyn. We'll see everyone's energy change because we've got to give him credit because we don't want to get criticised. Yeah? So, like, I'm glad we're seeing all these people right now on the channel, and I'm not watching the other channel because they don't invite Mr. Box Office, so I'm not really bothered about them. Like everybody knows, right? I bet everybody on the other channels now, Tottenham channels, will be cheering that, like, be so happy when we win against Bordeaux Glyn and win the Europa League, and then our energy will change. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I can't do it anymore. All right, for me, I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, this guy could still win Europa League, and that's what he's thinking at the moment. See what he's doing right now. See what Postecoglou is doing right now. Does he look like he cares about Liverpool right now? Because look at the team he played today, and you can see what was going to happen. I mean, Archie Gray and Buddy Burvow in midfield. You having a laugh? You know what I mean? Back to you still. I'm done with this crap.
Yeah, but that's something that I said about, right? I get the point, right? I get it, but this is a manager that told us about the winning mentality, right? And about winning every single match. And he's making 8 changes and getting us bent over and abused, right? Yeah. By Liverpool. How is that winning mentality? How does that breed winning mentality, right? How do these players motivate themselves if they lose 19 league games in a season, right? Like, I get the point. No matter what we did today, we were losing that game. I get the point, right? Unless something mad happened, like 2 red cards for Liverpool, then I bet they would beat us anyways, right? And it would be even more embarrassing, right? But I just don't understand making 8 changes and getting abused on the pitch, right? Like, again, Alex, like, I agree with you that the Europa League is the focus, right? But it's like, I
don't agree with that, by the way, Mikel. I don't agree with that, Mike. Mikel. I think we should be focused, especially after that Frankfurt game, away, when he did what he did, and we saw, and everyone was saying, oh, we need to give him credit because he's always changed it up. He's not putting the wing backs invert and everything else. I said, really? Right? You think he's done that? Because we've been asking for that so long now. So why is he doing it right now? Which I'd say, no, it's the coaching staff or the players have done it. And by what we've seen the last 2 games, we know now it's not about him, isn't it? We all know now, don't we? We all know.
He just doesn't care about the league. He has this like stupid idea of his way of playing football, right? He has this like dream of being this expansive, like, you know, pleasing on the eye team, right? Except, I don't know, I think he's blind. Maybe he should go and get his eyes checked, right? Because all I'm seeing is our team getting, as I said, abused. I will keep using that word, right? Because what we witnessed today wasn't like a football match. It wasn't a football match. It was like putting 5-year-olds against grown men in a boxing ring. That's how I felt watching that game, right? And I meant it when I said it. I think Leicester would have conceded less than us today, right? Or Southampton, or who is the third team? Ipswich, right? Whichever team you put, because there aren't many other teams below us in the league. There is West Ham, right? So out of those 4 teams, I bet you all of them wouldn't concede 5 today, because they would just
I absolutely agree with you, Mikel. But can I just say something? Can I just say something before Lubo makes himself known? Did you see Alderbert's face when he came on? Did you see Alderbert's face when he came on? Because I noticed something about Alderbert. He looked like, what the hell have I just come into right now? Like, did you see it when he came on for subs?
Did you guys see, like, there was this one shot of Ange, right? They have shown Ange, and there were our players behind him on the bench, Romero, Van de Ven, and a couple other guys, right? And they were pissing themselves laughing while we were getting
Porro was joking
Porro
around.
and other guys like
I'm gonna add on to it. Also, there were points in the game, the players will actually argue with each other. Look at the press conference, the post game by Madison, and you see his face, dude. You know, that's a face of he honestly wants to say this is a total shit show. Look at his face. You can see it. He's just trying to hold it in, like man.
Against Forest last game, right? When we were 2-0 down, they shot to the players warming up on the side, and there's Madison, I think, I don't know if it was Son or someone else. They're having a laugh and a joke while you're 2-0 down at home, right? That is not a winning mentality. That is players who all they are interested in is getting their paycheck, right? I contrast it. Do you remember a little while ago when Madison, after a loss, went to the darts, and someone on Twitter just had a go at him? Why are you having a bad time? Right, having a good time while you've just lost. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have a life. After a game, after a bad result, you've just got to shake it off, and you've got a life to lead, right? No problem. During a game, if you're not focused on that game, you're not a top-class player. You might have all the skill in the world, but you're not a top-class player, right? I didn't see focus. I didn't see them agitated. I didn't see them upset that they were 2-0 down at home, right?
Yeah, but
what is this manager instilling in our players? What message is he giving them?
I think the issue here is that they were agitated at the beginning of the season, right? But we've lost 19 games in the league and like 25 games this season, right?
So they've
like,
given up.
I get why they don't have the energy anymore, right? They just look at that and they piss themselves laughing, right? Because they know they are better than this. They know that they will most likely, the better players will get the move if they want to, right? I think these players just, like, we have to understand, it's not like they are from our academy, right? It's not like they are Tottenham fans. It's not like, that they embrace the club and the culture, the history, and all that stuff, right? It's, as you said, it's basically getting a paycheck at this point, right? Because they know they have nothing to play for anymore, especially in the league, right? In Europa League, we'll see a different team. I can bet all my money on that, right? That when the Europa League game comes, right, they will act differently. But that's not, again, as I said, like, getting abused by Liverpool today doesn't breed winning mentality, right? It's like this manager, like, he purposefully set up this team to get to just lose, right? And then we are surprised that these players they don't have the fight in them to fulfill the manager's instructions, right? Because they know the manager's instruction lead them to the slaughter, right?
Right.
That's how I look at it. Yeah.
He's setting up the teams basically with the Europa League in mind. That's it. It's a simple fact.
Yes.
Sorry, Alex.
You're absolutely, Ludo, don't get used to this. You actually agree. You're saying my language. You're talking my language.
Forest on Monday, and I thought Forest were unlucky to lose. Funny, I took a customer of mine, came off a plane at Luton today at 2:50, came over, left his car at mine. I ran into Stanmore. He got to the game just after Rico Lewis had scored. And him and his party on the way home were saying how lucky they thought Forest were last Monday to come away with the points. They thought we deserved the win, funny enough. He said we had hardly any of the play. He said we got away with it. Funny how other fans look at things. We really weren't happy. Again, it was another defeat on Monday night, but Forest thought we deserved it. But everything now at the moment is just about the Europa League. It's just about getting through winning these 3 games. Personally, I think Bilbao will win both games against United, and then they'll beat us in Spain.
Don't write off Man U, man. Honestly,
No, I'm not writing off Bodo, and I think if we go with anything less than a 2-goal lead, we got big problems out there.
I don't want this manager to be the most successful manager of the last 2 decades. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying this. I'm just saying the facts. I'm saying the facts right now. You get what I'm saying? We've got to do facts here.
You know what,
I mean?
Alex, you are. Yeah. I totally understand where you're coming from. Why should somebody who has been this shit get all the plaudits for coming away with a European trophy?
Why, Ian? Because it'd be so Spursy.
That's right. That's right. But you know what, Dan? Spurs desperately need a trophy.
Yeah, I agree. And
I get all this. And I want all this. Yeah. And Ian, I'm the first one to say the league is done. Yeah, but the way he did that today was pretty much unforgivable.
It was awful.
I mean, I was the one saying yes. Drop 3 of your players. Yeah. And the main ones, and even play Van der Ven for 45 minutes, then Romero. Yeah. But what he did today to poor Archie Gray, and I'm not bringing it up for the debate.
No, Dan. Dan,
was absolutely. It was just wrong in every which way in life. If you get what I mean, it weren't right.
Sure.
But,
if you want to,
if we just finish my bit, and I'll shut up again. If we actually win that, and then get into that Champions League and we finish 7th, I am usually one that will go out there and preach to any one of my mates. Yeah, either way, shut up. We're in the Champions League. We won nothing again, but we're in the. I would literally be embarrassed to be in the Champions League, if that makes any sense to anybody.
Yeah.
I know it's bad. I know it's bad because Rez has turned up, and I know Rez was fed up a minute. He was fed up a long time ago, so now Rez has turned up. I know it's bad. I know it's really bad. No disrespect, Rez. I think I'm telling the truth right now. You know what I mean? You know,
if you're giving Bentancur a rest, if you're going to bring players on and off for today, start with Basuma and Sarr.
I want to take what we're saying, right? I want to put a spin on something here. Very quickly, A says, "I love Ange for making me hate watching my team." A bit of sarcasm there. Big up to you. So there is a different viewpoint out there, and it's quite a strong one, a diminishing one, but nonetheless, it's still strong. And this is typical of the view. Okay, so I just want to give you a series of messages in the chat. So Joey Rogan, he says, the toxic negative pressure and the vile abuse some of the players and manager have had this season has had a huge effects on the results. So he's okay. We'll get into it. If Ange leaves, we'll just be restarting this 12-month clock till our next manager gets sacked. Would rather wait, see this out, see if we can build something out of this project. Our supporters just need to get behind the entire team and management. I believe the club won't change until we do. Ange has not had enough chances to change Spurs' majority. Right now, before we get into this, I just want to say this. That view is there are fans in the club, i.e. me, some of you, that my opinion is labelled as negative, and that some of the things I say could be deemed maybe, or maybe it's others that say certain things that I haven't said, that are abusing our players, and therefore it's diminishing their performance levels because of our behaviour. So our behaviour is impacting the players on the pitch not being able to win games. And we've got to stick with Ange because it's the start of a project. You've got to let it last. Otherwise, we're going to hit the reset button. We're back to square one. Let's see if Ange can build a project. And then he ends by saying, just get behind the team, get behind the manager, regardless of what happens, regardless of what you see. Your job is just to get behind what is served up and what you are told to consume as a spectacle, as a fan. That's essentially what he's saying. And the club won't change unless we change. So it's not the club that has to change. It's us, certain labelled toxic negative fans that need to change. And Ange hasn't been given enough time. So essentially we're impatient as well. So there's a lot of criticisms being thrown at fans like us. So listen, 1 minute, hold on. I know you're all 1 minute. Because you're all talking, right? I know you're all going to want to say something on this. So what I'll do, I'll go around and you can all say your bit. Try not to interrupt each other because I know everyone's going to want to say something. I know what I want to say. So look, Rez, you go first and then I'll go around Okay, what would you say to that as a response?
If you'd said that, as I was saying, under Conte, even under Nuno, under Mourinho, under Pochettino, under Redknapp, under AVB, right? If you'd said that then, I'd be fully on board. This manager is not good enough. Okay? You can want it all you want. You can sit there going, positive energy, right? It's not going to make him a better manager. Okay? He's bollocks. He needs to lift his fat ass out of the chair and fuck off. And then we can have some positive energy about the next guy.
Okay. I'm gonna go next. I gotta leave.
Come on, you can.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna be blunt. Joe's either a troll or he's smoking something, and you can pass it along to all of us.
Mari, there's a lot of fans that is the opposite opinion. There's a lot of fans who think that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that smoke. Because if how the team plays is dependent on us, then this is the greatest, most run team in the world. Give us the Premier League the trophy. Give us the Premier League trophy. You have to be an imbecile to believe that we have any correlation on how these professionals play on the field, right? We are the ones who control the tactics, right, of our team being our legs spread wide open, being Pornhub FC, Cuck FC, right? We are responsible as the fans, right? Like, it is stupid. And then I know Dan has said it, a couple of people have said it. So because we recycle managers 18 times, right? And Dan used an example of dating a bird, right? You've had 4 relationships bad with a couple of birds, and you have your current bird who's treating you bad, cheating, who's cheating on you, doing all whatsoever. Oh, because I had those 4 bad relationships, I'm gonna stay in this toxic relationship because I don't want to go, to another girlfriend. Like it's stupidity, and I 100% echo what Rez is saying, right? Quality managers, right? I could back Conte. We did to the end. I know I did till the end, right? Poch to the end. Jose Mourinho. And these people, to keep Ange, they wanted Jose out. I was Jose in from my own channel. Very first video, Jose in. So this guy is terrible. Terrible. I'm not backing it. Absolutely not backing it. So this Joey guy is not serious. I really honestly, he's a troll. I get that. There's some people in the fan base who believe that. And by some miracle chance, we win the Europa League. You're going to hear more voices. Keep this guy in. But like I said earlier, at all costs, I want this guy out. I don't care if we win the Europa League final 10-0 over United or Bilbao. I want this guy gone. Absolutely gone. Because I know what's going to happen next season.
Yeah.
We're going to get spanked. Left and right.
Yes.
In the Champions League. There's no blow no glitz. There's no Azay Akbar, whatever. Can pronounce this team FC? No. We're going against the big boys.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, we ain't buy no new players of quality. It's going to be the same crap, but this time humiliated on the big stage.
Yeah,
right?
we get destroyed.
We get destroyed. On that note, everybody out. It's too long of a list. I want everybody out. Big up the panel, and yeah, I'm out.
Right.
Big up to Maury as always, brother. You look after
mate.
yourself.
Example I'm going to give for this. I've just got to think of the right way to put this one. It's people like that that aren't just the problem with Spurs. It's more like the problem with society. And I don't want to get political, but
I will.
But it's almost got political at Spurs. And people are going to think, like, where are you going with this? I will try to explain it in the best way I can. What we have basically done, what people like you are basically doing, is the problem with society, the problem with Gen Z, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, you are the sort of person that we will get a bang average player in, and out of 10, he'd be a 4-star at best. But you will big him up so much, along with a majority of the other fan base, and make him think he's a number 10. And that is like the problem with society, like when we have with a lot of certain opposite sex these days, of when you big them all up, like they big themselves up to be, when they're basically a 3-star if they're lucky, but sort of think they're a 10-star and want to get with multi-millionaires. And that is a big problem we have. People like you big up these players, big up this manager, stand by this manager, and make it out like it's our fault that he's only doing like what not even a 3 or 2-star could do. And this is what I mean. Maybe I haven't compared it in the best way, but it's not just the problem. This is the problem at Spurs. We big up all the crap we get. We go and sit there and preach on an Archie Gray and Bergvall transfer when we get nothing else in there. And then it's back the manager, because the manager has just turned up and said they are 2 quality players, whatever, when basically one that's turned out to be basically a 5-star and there's a chance he can get up to an 8-star very easily. Whereas the other one has turned up and he's, through no fault of his own, he's not good enough for the English Premier League. Yet you will big him up to be extremely good. And it turns a blind eye to everything, basically. And then the other point I will make with it is the other point I made on Spurs TV, whatever, yeah? People talk about supporting your club, support what you love, whether you like it or not. I've used this example before. I use it again. I have a daughter and I love her and I support her all the way. But when she don't get it right, I will do what I feel I have to do as a father. And if my daughter goes and gets with some crackhead out on that street, just because she tells me, Daddy, I've fallen in love with him, do I just sit back and back her now? Do I just say, okay, sweetheart, you love him, go for the crackhead, go get with him? No, he comes around my house and he gets a warning. And if he doesn't disappear, he ends up in my back garden underneath concrete, because I'm doing what is right for somebody I love. Now, if you want to do what is right for your football club, each their own opinion at the end of the day. Everyone's entitled to it. But you do not accept this bang average 3-star crap, make it out like it's 10-star and everything, and then make it think it's too big for its fucking boots. And that is exactly what people like you are doing. Maybe I didn't describe it the best way in the first one, but I don't have the best way with words.
Yeah. Lubo, what's your take on what fans like Joey have to say, that it's fans who are to blame because we're labelled as negative because of our views, and that we need to change for the club to change?
I think that he's a troll. Don't believe he's a fan at all. Don't believe he goes to any games. I've been to most of the games, and the fans get behind the team. They might boo them at the end of the match and give them pelters when they've been shit, but during the game they get on with it and they support the team, home and away. Listen, the home support isn't great, but you don't see players getting booed. I remember Emerson got booed, didn't he, when he came on? I think the other year. I haven't heard any of that since then. Players don't get booed.
Well, we got some boos at half time against Forest, I think. Okay, but not during the game when when the players are involved. So I don't take anything that he says seriously, to be honest. And it's not to we haven't lost 19 games because of the fans this season. People like that, as I say,
they come on here, they try and wind everybody up. And I suppose he's happy because he's had a reaction from us. And Dan, a couple of years' time, we'll revisit this conversation. This what you've just said about Archie Gray. I'll leave it at
that. Michael, yeah, what would you make of that? There are fans that think that our view is different, and that we question the tactics, we question the manager, we question the behaviour of the owners, the transfers. Therefore, it's negative, and that it's affecting the team, and that the club won't change unless we change as fans who have been labelled negative for having a different view to the one that the opposing view has.
You know, I have my own opinion about fans like that, right? But I'm not sure if I should necessarily be voicing it, because it's getting a bit into like nationality politics stuff. Like if you are okay with it, if you are okay with it, guys.
Go on, the world is already on fire. What we need now is more racial tension. Come on!
No, not. It's not racial. It's
joking.
Michael, your banter is rubbish.
No, but no, because like if I said some racial shit, right, you guys would get demonetized and all that stuff. I don't want.
Oh, we've already covered diarrhea, anal colons, crackheads, and burying people under concrete. So I reckon we've got a bit of room for racism.
Again, I don't want this.
No, don't.
Yeah, no.
That was a joke. That was a joke. Go on.
No, but
say your piece.
Yeah, honestly, like I think that's some of the wokest, weakest bullshit I have ever heard in my life. Right? You seriously think that these guys care that some drunk crackhead in the stands calls them a pussy or a cunt, right? You seriously think they give a toss, right? Like, I don't I know where this approach comes from, right? I know in which country you watch sports eating burgers and cheering, I want my team to win, right? Like, I have my own opinion on that, right? And I think you guys got the point what I'm getting at, right? But that's basically where this approach comes from, right? In my opinion, I fully understand if there are plenty of people that aren't like that, right? But I seriously feel that way, right? But just as an example, right? You think getting told that you are shit from the stands is bad, right? Like, I've personally witnessed my home team that's currently fighting relegation, right? All the players get called in front of our like version of Southstand, right? There is like 6,000 ultras there, right? Then there is a guy with megaphone that's calling them useless shits, right? That they are fighting for relegation and that they have to step up or there will be consequences, right? And then they have 6,000 people telling them that they better step the fuck up or it will be worse, right? You think that one drunk guy like shouting abuse at them, you seriously think that's demoralizing them, right? You seriously think that we lost 19 league games?
In actual fact, yeah, because these guys are so fucking weak. Right?
I don't agree with
that. They're on their social media, right? Seeing all this shit, and it lets them affect them because they're not warriors.
I don't agree with the fact that we lost 19 games because somebody called them a cunt.
No, that's not the principal reason, but they do get affected. Right? And listen, as far as I'm concerned, they're weak for doing that, right? They should be men. Stand the fuck up. I agree.
Or get in a different bloody job then.
Yeah, or just change the job if you can't handle it, right? Like
come and do our jobs. What I would say to a player is, if you're sat there crying over a fucking tweet, come and do our job for a bit, where we get paid what you get paid in a year, what you get paid in a week, right? They're weak. They're fucking weak, lily-livered shits. You get one or two battlers in there. You get one or two who are actual fighters, who really, not in our squad, I'm talking about in the world of football players generally. They go out there, they want to fight, they want to win. They're real winners. They're real warriors. Not our lot. Our lot are a bunch of fucking lily-livered losers. And it's because of the fucking culture at the club. I'm swearing more than you, Michael, right? It's the culture at the fucking club. They are told, again, the best example, they are presented with watches that say Champions League finalists as if that's the achievement rather than being awarded for winning it. It's the culture at the club. We're there just to make up the numbers. Yeah. They get their thing. It's why James Maddison is joking on the touchline when his team are 2-0 down within however many, like 25 minutes or whatever it was against Forest. You know, I'm not saying don't have a joke, but when you're 2-0 down, you should be itching to get on there, not having a laugh and a joke on the sideline. Because what do your teammates on the pitch think when they see that? Oh, we're 2-0 down, but Madders is having a good time. Yay! Right? We need fucking fighters. We need soldiers. We need generals. We need that to be from the top to the bottom of the club, and we don't have it.
Yeah. Still, can I answer Anthony Clark? So, Ian, you're only a real fan if you go to games with a load of crap. That's not what I said, Anthony. What I said was this guy was making out that it's the fans' fault. Well, I go to most of the games, so I'm fairly qualified. Yeah, having heard what the fans say and how they cheer the team, to actually come back and answer him on that and say, no, the fans don't get on the players' back. And yes, I saw some comments. Sanchez got booed, he did. But under Ange, this has not happened. The players get pelters at the end of a game, or there have been a few boos, a few half-time and a few half-time whistles. But what he wrote in his on these comments is utter rubbish. Hope that's clear.
I want to say my bit on this, okay? And I'm going to reverse it back on Joey Reagan, if it is a real account or if it's a troll sent from another channel.
He's long gone, by the way. He's long gone, by the way.
Yeah, because Alex timed him out, and I said, I'll only make you mod if you don't time people out unless they're offensive and abusive. And I don't like what he says, block. I'm like, no, don't do that, all right? But anyway, look, this thing about toxic negative, I think the real toxicity comes from the fake positive fans. The ones who just jump on anything, Tell's amazing, Slanky's going to be the best, Archie's generational, this player's going to be the next Messi, blah, 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 without them having proven anything. Kane had to prove it. When Kane had 5 seasons, winning golden boots, being the best player at Spurs, smashing England records. Right, let's talk about Kane now because he's done it. But we're doing it before any of these players have done anything. So the real negativity is from those who deliver positivity with no substance to back it. And that's why I call it fake positivity. As for defending Ange, backing Ange, our supporters need to get behind the team and we won't change. Unless we change, the club won't change. This is what I'll say, right? 3 things. Number 1, Ange, the person you're defending, said, let fans feel what fans want to feel. Let them believe what they want to believe. So if I feel he's crap and I feel the team, the way he set them up, is going to fail, I'm doing as the manager's told me. He told me to let me feel how I want. So your issue then must be with the manager because he's asked me to feel how I want. The second thing Ange said was, my success will be judged. The fans will let us know if it's been successful or not. The fans will tell us if I've been successful or not. So when the fans criticize him, boo him, and say that this is unacceptable, we've had enough, we're doing what he said. He said, we will let him know. I'm letting him know. I think you're crap. I don't think you're good enough. So who's the problem? Me? 1 minute, me for doing as my manager has said, or the manager for incorrectly saying these things, but then no issues with the manager, which then falls right into my lap of argument. So I put that back on you. I'm doing what my manager's told me. So your issue is with me for doing what I was told by the manager who you're defending. That doesn't make sense. And the last thing I'll say is this. When you have an owner that charges first-class seats and serves up barely premium economy, I have every right as a customer to fucking have a complaint. Because when I'm expecting champagne, steak, king prawns, Alaskan crab, and I'm getting tandoori bad boy pot noodle and a Kit Kat, I've got a fucking problem with it. I'm sorry. That's what I am. I'm a customer. You know,
Mike. Just one bit, a bit
Yeah.
quick. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
That's it.
agreeing 100% with what you're saying. Still, yeah. I said it on the other show on what is it? Tottenham TV. Thanks for letting me on today, by the way. First time been on there. You got to look on life on both sides. There's always two sides to it. If there's good, there's got to be bad. If there's left, there's got to be right. There is always the opposite of everything. So if there is toxic, negative, like us bunch of pricks, as we get told, but I'm not in the same level as these pricks. I'm a fucking prick, and I like it, and I enjoy it. And it is what it is. The toxic negative has been the problem at the Spurs for a while now, but especially since Ange has been here. If I would say 60-65% since I've been doing this of supporters that I see, that I read on here, I can't speak for everybody in the world, but I can only speak by what I see, are happy with going down the nightclub and spending all the money and going home with that two-star person who probably weighs about 26 stone, and you are happy with that. Go for gold, mate. I'm not. I'm going home with a 10-star and then getting married to her 10 years later. You accept your low life? Fine. Go for it, mate. Each their own. Whatever turns you on at the end of the day. But I am going home with my 10-star where I don't need to take a snorkel with me to the bloody 2-star.
Yeah. And quickly, because Style, there is
into the club, Dan.
No, quickly, because I also want to comment on one thing, that the comment that you highlighted, Style, right? The comment was saying about just stick with this manager and stick with this project, right? What seriously baffles me with the approach of some people is why this manager exactly, right? What is the evidence behind this manager exactly, this guy, Ange Postecoglou, that so many are behind him, right? Because I got to admit, right, after his first season, I said it on this channel, right? He was the first manager I saw survive a full 38-game season since I started supporting Spurs, right? Because I started at the end of Pochettino. So I didn't see a full Pochettino season, right? I saw the end of Pochettino, then Mourinho, then Conte, and none of them survived a full 38-game season, right? They survived more than 38 games, like in 2 separate seasons, but not a full season, right? And after that first season, I was like, fine, I want to see where this goes, right? I actually am sick of firing managers, right? I was in the same boat, right? But there is no evidence behind backing Ange, right? Because he has shown nothing to deserve this amount of faith from the fans, right? This is something that I cannot comprehend, right? People got blinded by those first 10 games, right? And the sample size is 10 good games and 60 bad games, right? Where is the logic behind backing this manager? There is no like you go from one conclusion to another to another.
There's no substance, Michael.
You watch the evidence, and you see that he's a shit manager. Like, I want to remind some people that are still Ange in, we are fucking 17th in the league. 16th, whatever, right? As if that makes it better, Ian, right? Like,
right,
we are 16th in the league, like 16th. I thought, like, before the season started,
and we've got no injuries anymore. We haven't had injuries for 3 weeks. None, zero.
Before the season started, right? I had a sneaky feeling that it's going to be a bad season, right? But I never ever expected it to be this bad, right? I never ever, since I started supporting this club, expected to see Spurs in 16th after 34 games in the league. Like 16th after 2 games, okay, yeah. Right? But 34 games, and we are 16th.
And I'm expecting to lose more. Let me get Alex in. Let me get Alex in.
I said 7th or 8th, and I just got called totally negative in that. And
Dan, let me bring in Alex because I want to. Let me bring in Alex.
Yeah.
Let me bring in Alex because I want to wrap it up in a minute. Just a couple of super chats here from a user who says, "Always said 2 balls in a sack equals Ange ball." Don't worry, you bank on Ange and Levy always. And Danny Kiriakou, can you smell what the Lubo is cooking? Lubo, you're getting a lot of love tonight. A lot of love.
I'm getting a lot of love. I've got to say, it's very amusing. Some of these names are brilliant. Very, very,
Zenedine Lubdan. Zenedine Lubdan. That's a good one.
the Lubakoglu and Ian Levy, forget about those. They're out. The rest are pretty good.
You got the Don Lubo, you got Lubo Mora, Zinedine Lubdan, Lubit like Luboham, Pep Lubiola. I mean, the quality of puns is it's on the floor. Alex, what do you make?
Sorry, mate.
What have you seen?
It's nothing. You said the quality is on the floor. I think
these puns are terrible. Look, Cristiano Lubola.
Lubotomy, Jesus.
Lubotomy.
This is, you know what this is? This is Danny Kiriakou who started this.
That deluded guy, that deluded guy in the chat, Danny Kiriakou. He's so deluded, isn't he? You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on. Still love you, Danny. Anyway.
Would you go to bed before he heard your voice?
Of course,
yeah.
Bryce always just lowers it that one lower, that one level lower. Where is it? Lubo me up. There you go.
Oh my God.
Lubocation. Do you know what? Stop. Alex, enough of this, Lubo. Fans that call toxic negativity because you've got a different view on the manager and the direction of the club, and saying that you need to change if the club's going to change. What do you make of it?
I'm smiling, bro. I love that sort of fan. I love those fans. I love them. Because they're the ones that told me that I was negative for letting Poch go. Look what happened. You know what I mean? I was told that I should back Mourinho. Look what happened. I was told I should back Conte. Look what happened. Now, Ange Postecoglou was the worst one. The worst one. Yeah? Because no one wanted me on YouTube because I kept on saying I didn't like this manager. Look what's happened. Now people are jumping on the bandwagon now, saying that I was calling it from the day dot when they were talking absolute rubbish. And they're criticising me, by the way. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. The only difference is with me and this year and with Conte, I was still on YouTube trying to do YouTube videos with something that really was really just doomed to fail in the first place. Now, the only thing different is right now we could win Europa League, which again, that's why now I can't be asked anymore because I can't fathom having to call this guy I'm a successful manager the last 2 decades. I can't do it anymore. But I will celebrate. I don't drink, so anyway, that's never going to happen. But I'll still celebrate. But the point I'm making is though, yeah, you can call me a real fan, but the real fan that you're criticising used to pay money to go to games a lot of the time, even when we were rubbish. But I'm not a real fan. You know what I mean? Using my own money, by the way, yeah. The real fan now, right, is not turning up to games now because he's so fed up. He's going doing other things right now. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm sorry. I love this. I love these fans. But these real fans that call us out, they don't turn up for debates, though. They don't turn up. You know what I mean? I'm so fed up now of people telling me about myself being not a real fan, but that I'm just sitting there thinking, well, why am I watching you when you don't turn up for debates to debate us? You know what I mean? Like they say, oh, I don't want to go on Tottenham Away. Yeah, I don't want to go on Mr. Box Office TV. I don't want to go on Dan's channel, Hotspur Hood, by the way. Yeah. You know, I don't want to go on Savage Channel Football Heritage TV because we're too much. We're too much. But you keep on talking. So when you keep on talking, why don't you do some action and actually debate us? But now, because you're so boring now, I don't even care about you anymore. The debate is so boring about Ange now, right now. I'd rather watch bloody Love Island. That's how boring it is. You know what I mean? And that's not even worth watching anyway. Yeah, other programs are available, by the way. You know what I mean? So it's great you're talking in the chat, but when you want to turn up and actually grow a pair, come and debate us. Yeah? Because Mr. Box Office is waiting for you. Wait and centre right now to debate you right now, but you won't turn up. You're just kicking out of it like every single time, and that's it. And that's all I've got to say. Back to you, still. I'm done. Rinsing these idiots to pieces. I've only done with them.
Do you know what? I think we're done for tonight, Alex. I think we're done for tonight. What I will say is there is another super chat from a user who says Lubo Aldinho or Luberto Carlos. Personally, my favourite of the night is Louis Vuitton. I think Louis Vuitton is the winner. So, Jimmy, Mr. RV, you can be the winner of this competition if there is
Not
one.
Lubo Island.
Lubo.
I'll get Alex on, don't worry, if it's Lubo Island. You'll be the first one for the next series, mate.
No one wants to see that. Come on,
mate.
Alex.
The way you've gone on in it and you still defend it after today, it might as well just be Lubo Gray.
You know what? I don't even want to have a go at him about Gray. It's not even like Lubo can do whatever he wants.
It's just sarcasm. It's just a bit of sarcasm, Alex.
I know. I just think it's the club. I can't be asked.
I did say, guys,
what happened to Archie Gray today is it's because of the instruction and the fact that he's been chucked in at the deep end by his manager.
Agreed.
How old is he? 19, 20, something like that. 19, not every player is going to be that 16-year-old wonder kid. He's not going to be Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, who came in as a teenager and became one of the best players of all time. 19 is young. This poor kid, he's been chucked in there and been arse raped by Liverpool.
The whole point of it is, I ain't even going to go into it.
The problem is, Rez. Again, I do apologise for people that are repeating this because I've said on Mr. Box Office TV. They put the pressure on them when they said at the beginning of the season, "Oh, we don't need any midfielders. We're really impressed with Archie Gray and Burvow in training, so we don't need any midfielders."
Who said that?
Well, they said it in the press. They said that some of the press.
The manager said it, and then all the fans bigged it up here, and that was the problem. The problem was it is not a personal thing. The problem is we should have spent that 40 million on an established player.
There are Dan. There are fans that big up every player that comes to the club because they're desperate for that player to do well.
They rate him as a 10-star when it's only a 2-star that thinks it can get with a millionaire. Like I said, it's basically a political thing, and I'm sure people know what I'm actually getting at here. It is what it is. It's Spurs.
I think it's a financial thing, to be honest, and it's down to Levy. So,
Ian, we're not disagreeing with you here. It's just at the end of the day, because I don't think it's going to change next season. I don't think it's going to change next season because we've already seen things already. I mean, Ben Davis, who's had a good season this season, has been our best defender this season again. Well, not again, but the first time. You know what I mean? Because remember, Van der Ven only turned up at how many percentages this season, right? Okay, he's going to sign a new contract. They're looking at signing a new contract for bloody Betancourt. So the writing's already on the wall already. The writing's already on the wall already for the team already. Alex, so I don't see anything changing next season.
Nothing will change till it changes. Till we get new owners. It's the same old shit. And do you know what? If we get a decent manager in, what's the ceiling? 4th, and that's it. Yeah. So we're gonna depending on how good the manager is, we're gonna be somewhere between 4th and 16th.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where we are with Levy's Tottenham.
That's it.
No, I agree with you.
That's it. Challenge for the challenge for titles and be in cup competitions every single time, like City.
Daniel Levy's sweet spot.
I know you want to end
finishing 4th every season and getting to the quarterfinal of a cup. That's the sweet spot because you don't need to invest that much to get there, right? But in trying to get further, you need a lot more investment. That's his sweet spot.
Do you know what it is, Rez? They take the club as far as they can to keep the club semi-competitive, so the fans come in, they spend the money, whether it's tickets, merch, food and beverage, whatever it is, but they never take the next step up because they're risk averse.
Yeah,
it'll never change. We've had 24 years of it.
Yeah. Still, I know you want to end it, but it is 2:14. I hope you can act 5 more minutes.
No,
The one I
no,
wanted to talk
no,
about-
because it's not going to be 5 more minutes. I'm going to end it.
Okay.
Rinse the hell out of this.
I just
We're
wanted
gonna-
the Vicario one to talk about the keeper. But
Dan, listen, we can talk about the keeper, but then we're going to end up talking about the right back. Then we're going to go and I want to go to bed.
it's a fair point, mate. It's a fair point. Solid as.
We'll keep talking.
Bye. Listen, I want to say big up to Andres Fratcray becoming a channel member. DJ came for the super chat. BSC, A user, Danny Kiriakou, A user of quite a few super chats tonight. God bless you, man. Thank you so much. We're going to be back live tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Doing our Monday night show. I'm doing a post-match analysis on Big Up. I think 1 o'clock in the afternoon on that channel, and then we're back on Thursday with our watch long and another post-match show. The big
I'm
one.
gonna love that one. I'm gonna love the post match. I'm gonna love that post match because I bet we're gonna crash Bodo Glyn, and everyone's gonna sit there and we're gonna sit there and think, "Oh my gosh," because I can see it happening, bro.
Alex, have your final say, and we'll go around and we'll go anti-clockwise.
No, I'm just saying. I know I'm just trying to stir it up a little bit, really, to be honest with you, because I know what's going to happen at the end of the season right now, because it's just looking like it, and I'm going to be hating it, even though I should love it, and I will love it, because in the end, because we've won something, you know what I mean? But
it was like I
on
said
Thursday. On Thursday,
lucky, feckless, useless sack of shit. It would just be his luck, just to fluke his way through against what's it called, and that's what happened.
You just said it. You just said it. I think it's happening. It's happening.
Wait, this is a debate. This is your good night, Alex. Do your last thing, and then we're going round. So, again,
I'm saying good night. I'm saying good night. That's it. I'm saying it's gonna be a picture on everyone's face. On our channels that we're saying that we don't like Ange when he wins that game against Bodo Glyn handsomely, because I can see it happening and we're in the final. And what we're going to say then, thank goodness.
Join us on Thursday to see if we beat Bodo Glyn and what Alex has to say, because no doubt he will come on and have plenty to say if that prediction happens. His channel's down below. Make sure you subscribe. Michael, before your fiance doesn't want to be your fiance anymore, what's your final say?
Don't worry. The door is closed. I've practiced how loud I can be to not wake her up, so don't worry. Nah, man, I don't know. We got talked by 5 today, and we didn't even talk about the game. So I guess we just got used to it. I just hope and pray that the next season is just slightly better. That we have a manager who is slightly competent, that we have something to cheer for, that I can be proud of the team again, because I'm not right now. Right now, I'm just so detached from the team. It's honestly sad how bad it is, right? I just have my mates in the group chats asking me what the fuck is going on with your club, and I'm like, mate, you want a 5-word answer, a 50-word answer, or a 5,000-word answer, right? I can provide whichever one you want. And they usually say, nah, don't matter, right? And I say, good, because I didn't want to bother, right? That's how I feel about the club. Like, that just fucking sucks. It just fucking sucks, man. It sucks
there. It fucking sucks. You got a swear word in there, and it's Michael. Michael.
Guys, wait, hold on. Do I seriously swear that much, or what's the deal with my fuck word? Like, I don't get the point. Like, do I have like a weird accent on it?
No, Mike. People like the way you say it.
Occasionally, Michael, you'll throw like 4 or 5 fucks in very, very close succession in something, and it's noticeable, but it's not all the time.
Good.
Do you know what? Rez has explained it perfectly. You won't swear for 2 minutes, and then we get 4 fucks in like 5 seconds, like 10 seconds. That's fucking fuck. And then that's it. It's gone. It's out your system.
It's like a wave. It comes and goes.
Just build up frustration. I just, I don't like. I don't want to say what I do with the fuck words, but Okay, like just ejaculate them, like just
Oh wow! Oh
This
wow!
is going really bad. I've got pizza waiting for me.
Careful, Mike. Careful, Mike.
Have the episode, guys.
Remember last time you went into the descriptions and I had to take you off the show for 5 minutes. Don't go there.
I ejaculate the fuck. This is fantastic. This is brilliant.
McKelvin, inspired by Mr. Box Office. That's what he is. Unleashed him. That's what he is.
Paul Lubo, right? He gets invited on shows that are quite structured debates, and everyone's. I don't want to say more articulate, but there's not much ejaculation and anal and fuck. And Paul Lubo, right? He comes in and he's Lubo. But you know what? You get more love on this channel than any other channel. The whole chat for the last half an hour has just been about you.
Absolutely. And in closing, to use a Winston Trotter 12:23 a.m. line, all I want is my Tottenham back, so I'm walking in a Lubo Wonderland.
Boom, boom, boom. Dan, do you know what? You can say what you want. It's your end of show. Your last piece.
Honestly, mate, I don't think I've got a lot to say to it. Same Spurs, different day. Same Spurs, different day.
Listen, everyone, make sure you follow Dan. He's on the road to 4,000 or 5,000. I can't remember. I think it's 5,000. Subscribe to his channel. He does content every once in a while. He does it with David as well. Both of them really, really good. Go over there. Make sure you follow. And finally, the Resonator.
Hello. I need to pee.
Good luck.
What else is there to say? It's like that bit in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels where Steve Martin's playing that sort of slightly deranged one. He goes, "Excuse me, could I go to the bathroom, please?" Certainly. Thank you. Look, we did anal douche. We did Lubo. It's part of the show. I'm telling you this from the outside.
We did Lubo. Damn.
and we ejaculated the fucks.
And we ejaculated the fucks, exactly.
Like we got done today with no Lubo.
And we got done without Lubo as well.
That's true. I don't know. Look, yeah.
See, this is going to be a video that tomorrow I wake up, I go in the Tottenham Away chat group. There's myself, Iggy, Maz, Mari, and a few others. And the question is going to be, Stel, do you think we should edit the last 5 minutes out of the video from yesterday? Then we're gonna have like a 10-minute discussion on it, and then we won't do anything about it. We just leave it there.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, don't apologise. Don't ever apologise. Not on this channel. Don't you dare apologise on this channel. How dare you? How dare you?
Dan put it best, I think. Same shit, different day.
Lubo does that.
We're right in the heart of it. We're going through the shit. We're going through hell. It'll break. Something will break, and then we pick up the pieces and start again.
Yeah, we're definitely getting to that crunch stage where we just want. Do you know what? We just want to know: is he going to win the Europa or not? That's what we're waiting for now, isn't it? Are you going to win it or not? And in the meantime, we've got to play Liverpool and West Ham and there's these other obstacles in the way that just deflect away from.
It would have been better if Frankfurt beating us away from home. It would have been better. So we just put us out of our misery. But because they beat Frankfurt, now we're looking at it thinking,
now everyone's expectations. Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, now things have changed now because we could be winning the Europa League right now. So that's the thing. Because I thought the season was over after Frankfurt. I thought the season was over after Frankfurt. That's what I was predicting. Yeah. But, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alrighty. On that note, we'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you come and join us and big up. And on YouTube, until the next disaster class, come on the Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.